Meta has just introduced a brand new ad testing feature that is probably going to make all previous ad testing processes obsolete. Let's go ahead and check it out. Alright, so before we get into this new update, let me first give a little bit of history and explain why this is such a positive change. So previously, when you were doing any kind of ad testing, in terms of what was the best method, it all depended on your budget. And I actually have a video that broke down my favorite ways to do some ad testing based upon your budget. While I won't go into the specific details of that entire video, you can go ahead and check it out, and I encourage that you do go check it out. That way you fully understand the difference between then and now. But really quick, at a very high level, if you had a low budget, I would just tell you, you know what, just put everything in the same ad set. If you're only spending, $10, $15 per day, put 2 ads in there. I wouldn't do any more than three ads on that little of a budget. Just let the algorithm do its thing. It's not going to distribute the budget evenly, but you have a small budget, so it's fine. It is what it is. Or if you had a higher budget, what I encourage you to do was have separate ad sets, and then inside each ad set there would be one ad. So let's say you were testing 3 different ads in a campaign, then there would be 3 ad sets. All 3 ad sets would be going to the same exact audience. So audience A, and audience A inside of the 3 individual ad sets. But then inside of the ad sets, there would be a unique ad. So ad 1, ad 2, and then ad 3 inside of those unique ad sets. And so you would then give each ad set a independent budget, such as $10 a day, $15 per day. Let's keep it at $10 per day to keep the math nice and simple. So you'd be spending $30 per day between these 3 ad sets. You'd let it run and see which one works best. This guaranteed not only equal spend among the 3 ads, and then what it would also do is that it gave you confidence in the results. Now, the downside of this is that it did require you to spend more money, right? You have to spend $30 total between 3 ad sets, and you are actually also competing against yourself for a short period of time with this process. With this new introduction, not only does it get rid of a lot of those issues that I just mentioned, or the downsides that I just mentioned, it also improves the process for when you already have a campaign actively running and you want to introduce a brand new ad, just to see how it works. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so here we are inside of an account. So let's go inside of this campaign right here, and we'll go inside of this ad set. And let me switch this to maximum time frame. So everything I'm about to talk to you about today in this video, it's at the ad level. So there's nothing you have to do at the campaign level, nothing you have to do at the ad set level. It's at the ad level. So whether this is a new campaign or an existing campaign, it all begins at the ad level. So here we are in an existing campaign. So let's say I really want to test a new ad. We've done a lot of ad testing right here. As you can see, this one over the course of time has been the best one. It's generated the highest volume of purchases, and in general, the best cost per purchase. There are some, like this one right here, that for a short period of time, they did generate a lower cost per purchase, but it got such little budget that it honestly wasn't worth running it over the long run. And that is the challenge when you have an existing campaign, right? You have maybe this one ad that's performing extremely well. You throw it in there. The algorithm, because that ad just doesn't have a whole lot of history behind it, it's going to not give it a whole lot of budget. So previously, what I would have to do if I really wanted to test a new ad against this one right here, I would have to come back here, create a duplicate ad set, and then in that ad set I have one ad, and then I have them run at the same time with separate independent budgets, so on and so forth. But then again, that gets annoying. It's a lot more ad sets, it's more budget, I'm competing against myself, but this eliminates all of that. So I go right here to edit for this one. Again, this is the winning one that I want to maybe test against. I want to scroll basically almost towards the bottom until I get to, where is it? Right here. creative testing. So let's look at this right here. It says this test is conducted in your existing campaign so you can continue to run top performers with delivery system learnings retained when it ends. So backtracking a little bit, when I said, hey, in the old days or previously, 2 weeks ago, if I wanted to test against something like this, the cleanest way of doing it was to create a new ad set and have that new ad set run. But the other downside of that is that that new ad set would then have no history behind it. It wouldn't have all the conversion data that this one has built up over time. And so this one, by definition, had a head start in that test, regardless of what you would do. But now with this one, you get to do the test within the existing campaign with all the existing learnings, and so you are able to make it a true test, which is really exciting. And then compare up to 5 different versions of your creative in a test that provides delivery to new test ads. So let's go ahead and set one up as an example right here. Really quick before we move on, if you are sick and tired of going inside of Ads Manager and scratching your head, banging your head into the wall, trying to figure out what to do, stop. Just have professionals handle the job for you. My team and I can help you in this instance. I will have a link down in the description below. Whether you're a small business with a small budget or a big business with a big budget, we have all the right packages that are specific to where you are at in your business journey. What you'll do is you'll book the call, you'll hop on a call with me, myself. We'll talk about your business situation, see what's your best fit, and we'll move forward from there. Again, I'll have that in the link below. So right at the top, I can see how many test ads do you want to create. I can do 2 to 5. I'll keep it at 2 just to keep things simple, but I wouldn't be shy about doing more than that. And then here, you select your budget. So the ad set, as it stands right now, is currently spending $300 per day. Now I can tell it how much of that $300 do I want dedicated to this test. So right now I'm telling it I want $60 going to this test, guaranteed going to this test. So backtracking a little bit more again, what I said previously, the other way you could potentially do this was that you just launched a new ad in the same ad set, but it probably wasn't going to get a whole lot of budget. Again, now this fixes that issue. I am guaranteeing here that a minimum of $60 per day goes to this. I can make that $100 per day, right? I have all the freedom and flexibility to change this, but we'll just keep it at 60 for purposes of simplicity. So now of the $300, $60 will be going to this test, and then I can choose how many days I want this test to run for. It defaults to 7. I can knock this down to 3 or whatever it was. I can raise it to 14 or even beyond that, right? The world is my oyster when it comes to how I want to test this test right here. So I'll just keep it at 7 for now, and then I can choose the metric that will compare the performance. And so it's defaulting to cost per landing page view, which I don't think is ideal. I want a conversion metric to be the determining factor. So then I would come up here all the way to cost per result website purchases, because that's what we're ultimately optimizing for right here. So there we go. This fixes so many issues. I don't have to create a new ad set like I had to previously, or I don't have to worry about the new test ad getting no budget, right? I'm guaranteeing that this test gets a minimum of $60 in this case. And again, I could change that and I could make it even more. So I click confirm, and then it's going to look like this, right? So I have the test variations, test variation A, test variation B. I can switch between the two, and what's nice is that it tells me which one I'm currently editing. That's a really nice feature, because obviously when you initially start the test, the two ads are exactly the same, and so you can get super confused as to, wait, hold on, which am I editing? But it tells you right here as you toggle between the two which one it is that you're actually editing, and then you go ahead and make the changes, whether it's the ad copy, the creative, the headlines, whatever it might be. It can then test it. I'll click publish. It'll run for the 7 days at a minimum and maximum actually of $60 per day, and within a short amount of time I'll have a very clear idea of what the true winner is. So this is really, really exciting, because whether you are testing an ad in an existing campaign like we saw right now, or you're testing in a brand new campaign. Again, remember, going back to the beginning of this video, let's say you're launching a brand new campaign and you wanted to test 3 different ads. Again, you had to have, for a clean test, 3 different ad sets. You no longer have to do that. Everything can be kept inside of the same ad set. You share the same exact budget, and you can ensure that equal amount of money is spread between in the different ad variations, right? Because like if you, before this update right here, if you had 3 ads within the same ad set, the budget would just do its thing, kind of distribute the money however it saw fit. It wouldn't be a really true test. But now with this one, you can ensure that everything gets equal budget within the same ad set. So whether it's a new campaign, an existing campaign, this simplifies things, it saves you money, it prevents you from competing against yourself in duplicate ad sets, and just really streamlines the whole process. I really like this. It's actually the first time that Meta has released a feature about A/B testing that I like. Previously, the native A/B testing features that they had in here, I was never a fan of them because at a very high level, they would turn ads on and off periodically throughout the day. So, ad A would be on for 2 hours and then it would be turned off, and then ad B would go on for 2 hours and then that would be turned off, and then that would go back to A, on, off, right? And the issue with that was that, behavior changes on the platform throughout the day. So if an ad is off, let's say from the hours of 3 to 6, and that's when you get the most conversions, well, then that's kind of unfair for that ad to be off during that time period. That's why I was never a fan of the previous A/B testing features, but this doesn't have any of that. You are running everything in conjunction in the same ad set with guaranteed budgets. I really, really like this update. So go ahead and give it a try. Have fun testing and let me know how it goes for you. If you have questions about this, as always, just let me know in the comments below, or you can ask me about any of my other videos as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.